Welcome to the Grab Another Gear sessions. This is session 1. I'm Wayne Williams, and today I'm going to be sharing some advice I received during the dot-com bust about cash flow. What your P&L statement meant to you yesterday may not be the same today. So it's time to grab another gear. Hopefully you've got a chance to understand a little bit more about me and why I really feel called during this time to share a little bit more with you. If you're a man or woman running a business out there today, I'm feeling your pain in a deep way, and it's and I haven't slept much the last 4 or 5 days, and so I'm trying to figure out, like, how can I get out and be with you. I'm a 7 on the Enneagram, which also means I like all different kinds of experiences, and so if I met in an area with one of you, I'd want to get right in the pit with you. And that's an important part of what I want to share with you right now. The most important thing, that advice I got, came from a friend of mine in my YPO group in January of 2001, right after we knew that the gears, if you will, were just going to start breaking off of this big ship that we had. I mentioned to you we've had 2,400 employees at the end of that year, about 2,300, and then we were just there starting this visibility of the supply chain drying up, and the customers were going to stop ordering. And so we thought every decision that we made at that point, right at that moment, was going to be about shutting down production, because there was so much in the supply chain that was out there already. And this great piece of advice from John, and I'll mention his first name, and he had gone through the oil crisis 20 years prior. And that was these 3 key points. Throw away your P&L. So if you've been operating on a profit and loss statement, you throw it away. Set it aside, if you will, because there's probably going to have board members out there right now who are going to say, we can't get rid of that P&L. Understand that, but set it aside. The second thing is start operating on a cash flow statement. And 20-day cash flow, that's what I heard. And I remember taking that piece of advice and immediately talking to my CFO at the time. And he had come out of the mining industry. So now all of a sudden we're going through growth in telecom, and mining always had to operate off cash flow. So little did I know that he was provided for such a time as this. And he was already working on a 20-day cash flow. And the third piece of advice he gave me was, any inventory that you have, sell it, and sell it now for whatever you can get for it. Now, I share that with you if you're producing a product or you're doing that, because that inventory that's out there right now becomes your cash flow. It's the stores that are in your refrigerator, if you will, that the longer you sit on them, the less and less value that they have. And so I really felt when John spoke into me, he was sharing his scars, and it really helped me. And we operated on that cash flow statement, to give you an idea of that, for 17 years. We still then focused, we brought back in the P&L, but the cash flow statement was highly important. So what you're going to be looking for in this cash flow, you're going to get your finance team, because that's the individual that should be in charge of that, to begin to put that together. And you're going to be looking at all your inflows and outflows. Those are the obligations, the entitlements, if you will, everywhere from magazine subscriptions to, which sounds small, but they can add up, whether any size of your business. And you're going to be looking at those. You're going to be looking at your labor, because that's kind of your commitment that's out there. And then you're going to be looking at all the inflows of your customers. So it's really a time to be paying attention to that. So I would state 20-day cash flow statement, and do it every day, and every morning look at it, because you need, as a business leader, somebody that's really got a hold of those inflows and outflows right now, so you can get your eyes out of the dash of your car, of this business that you're running, and through the windshield and looking up into turn 1. You need to know how you need to be prepared as you get out in front. So there's some of you that might even be asking yourself right now, well, Wayne, you had managed this business and it was so large, and yes, it went down. My business is small. And I want to tell you the story where I got a chance to get into the pit with someone else. And that was in 2004. I'm at the Harvard Business School reunion for the 10-year reunion at the time. And we had the president of General Motors sitting in front of me. And I'm asked by my board member, who I mentioned in an earlier episode of that said turn scars into stars, to speak to this group of 85 leaders. And following that, me talking about leading through these turbulent times, I had a man from the Midwest come up to me and say he couldn't believe what I went through because he had a business of 60 and he was having to cut 30 or 50% and take it down to 30. And I looked at him and I said, you have had it so much worse than me. And so if we play a comparison game, he's thinking I have had it worse than he has, but he had birthdays. I asked him, you probably were birthdays and anniversaries and dinners and barbecues and that, and you knew all the kids' names in this town that you're in right there. And I didn't until I got down to where it was back to 500 employees, because I was harder and harder to get to know people. And so sometimes management can be so distant away from it, from where it's at, but our job is to really push ourselves and get into that place of empathy and really understanding the pain that people are going through right now. So I'm hopeful that this message isn't just about the size of the business and the size of the drop, but it's really about that I do care about the small businesses today in a big way. I care about what you're going through, and I really care about the people. And so in future episodes, we'll be talking a little bit about getting really into this idea of culture as well, which that's another aspect that you're going to be kind of going through. And so as we touch on those sessions that are coming up, I'm excited to get into the pit with you in a deeper way and share with you some of these scars that I have and help you turn those into stars for tomorrow. So join me in the next session where we are going to talk about and shift into a new gear, which is culture. And I'm excited to share a little bit more with you on that, because one of the hardest parts that we can struggle with as leaders right now is that our culture changes. We have areas that are impacting our people right now, and they'll go anywhere from some people are afraid during these times, and they show a huge amount of fear. Other people are excited during times like this. And it's a tough thing right now to manage your culture. You've probably had a culture already set up where you're engaged and you've been running in this fourth and fifth gear, if you will. And right now, when you start shifting down and the RPMs rev up and you start adding brakes to all the momentum that you're moving right now, you're going to see a massive culture shift inside your business. So it's important to get back to the fundamentals of what you want for your culture for tomorrow. Thank you for listening to the Grab Another Gear sessions. Join me next session for more stories and experiences that may help you overcome your next challenge.